Welcome to day one of the Offers Turnover Challenge. I'm so excited to have you over here while I'm starting this amazing journey of turning negative ROAS offers to at least break even on the front end or a little bit of profit so that we can get unlimited premium leads absolutely for free without having to offer free PDFs, guides, etc. If you want a detailed overview of what this challenge is going to be about, go ahead and watch this particular video and let's get started for day one. Okay, so I wanted to keep day one a bit light so that we all of us can get acquainted about what we are doing, how we are doing, and so on and so forth. So just to give you a gist about what are the couple of things that we do on a regular basis is that number one is a deep dive. Deep dive basically means that we are going to take the data that we got from the recent ads we ran for this particular offer, and we are going to analyze what worked and what did not work and what needs to change. Okay, and the second thing that we will do on a regular basis is strategy. So for any new person coming into our ecosystem, what we do is first thing is we create a launch strategy for them, determine which funnel would be best for them depending upon their niche, what offer, every single thing we strategize for them, and based on that we run the marketing, based on that we create the entire offer, and so on and so forth. Okay, so having said that, let's dive inside of what we did on day one. Okay, so on day one, we did three things. The first thing is we reviewed the status of all the present clients that we have to determine what needs to be fixed where. Okay, so this is a list of the different clients. I'm not going to share that list right now, but as I introduce each client over here, I'm going to share the stats with them about their offers over the next few days after we have relaunched them. Every update will be shared over here with you inside of these videos. Okay, so since today is day zero, there are no stats to review. However, I did one deep dive and one strategy review as well. So let's dive inside of the strategy review. So there's this client called ET. Let's call him ET. Now, ET, there was a strategy that I already formed for him, and this strategy was that we were going to run meta ads to an opt-in page, and this opt-in page will have people opt in for a VSL. So this will be like a 8-minute, 10-minute training video where we are going to be sharing with them some kind of value, and then towards the end we will be giving them an option to join our 8-week self-paced accelerator program for $297. So then after they have opted in, they are going to come to a VSL page. So opt-in basically means when somebody comes to a landing page, they are going to see, hey, this is the training that I'm opting in for. So they give the name, email address, or phone number, and then once they click on submit, they go to the next page, which is the VSL page, where they're gonna watch the video, they're gonna get the value, and then towards the end, we are going to pitch them this 8-week self-paced accelerator program, which they can go ahead and watch, which also has a result which allows them to pass a particular exam for this particular client. Okay, so the niche that this client is in career development and how people can excel in their careers by passing one test. Okay, so that is the offer. 8-week program, $297. So this is a DIY product, and then after they have purchased the $297 offer, we are going to upsell them. Upsell basically means as soon as they check out, they go to another page which gives them an option to buy something more from us immediately when they made a decision to purchase something from us. So just imagine you go to McDonald's, and as soon as you go for asking them for a burger, they ask you, hey, do you want fries and Coke to go with it, right? So that's an upsell. So they upsell something in the back end, right? After you have showed some interest that, hey, I want to buy a burger, so they just say, hey, would you want to buy this as well, would you want to buy this as well? So that is an upsell. Now that upsell was a mock exam mastery program, which is another program which will help them go in a little bit deeper on the program they just bought for $597 offer. You see why this is called an upsell? Because they just bought a $300 offer, and we are upselling them to a different offer for $597 offer. Okay, now if they say yes to this, they are going to go to the confirmation page where they are going to get the details of the program, where they can sign up and get access to the program, and so on and so forth. However, if they say no to this, they are going to go to a downsell page. Downsell page basically means that if they said no to an upsell, we are gonna offer them something that is cheaper than the upsell, so that they can say yes to that. Okay, now the main goal over here is to increase the average order value per customer. So on an average, if we simply just had this particular offer on the front end and we were just selling that on ads, we would be at negative ROAS. That's why we introduce an upsell. We also introduce a downsell to make sure that we are making more per customer than we would if we just have the upsell of the one offer, right? One course offer. So that's why we have an upsell. We also have a downsell. So for this particular instance, we just had a downsell as a payment plan for the upsell. So they would have bought the upsell for $597, but we give them an option to buy this at just $199 for three payment, $199, and they're good, right? So they just bought a $300 offer. When they see an option of buying a $600 offer, they said no to that. Now we are showing them, hey, you can get started on this as well today itself for just $200. You pay 200 today, and then 200 after 30 days, 200 after 30 days. That's it. So that's the downsell, right? So if they say yes or no to that, they will go to the confirmation page regardless, where the onboarding will be happening. They will get the weekly modules, Q&A session, the community access. They're also going to get the mocks and gates. All of that they're going to get. Then they're going to pass the exam. Then we are going to send them reviews and referrals and all of that. So all of this was the initial customer journey that we had finalized for that particular client. But then later on, the client suggested that he wanted to sell a $797 4-day intensive boot camp. Now, based on the research that we did for this particular client, we figured that most of the offers out there are regarding boot camps itself. That's why I suggested to have a self-paced accelerator program, so that we can uh, be distinguished or be unique from every other competitor out there. So that's why I suggested we have an 8-week program, but the client wanted to go with the same program, same type of structure that everybody else was having in the competitors. So in the competitors as well, they were selling the boot camps for $500, $2,000, even $5,000, right? However, the client wanted to start with $797, which where he will be giving them 4 to 5 hours of coaching every single day. Okay, so this is the structure that he wanted to follow, where we run the ads to a sales page where they can buy the $797 boot camp, and then he can go ahead do the entire training with them. However, what I suggested was we cannot sell a mid-ticket offer directly through a sales page, right? Any offer that costs more than $500 cannot be straight away offered on the front end to cold audience who doesn't even know us through a sales page, right? It's not going to sell until and unless we have a huge social media following and we are well known in the industry. People are not going to buy from us. That's why what I suggested them to do is to change the strategy to a live weekly webinar where they can give value for 1 hour, 2 hours, and then towards the end make an offer for this particular boot camp, right? Because webinars are much easier to sell any offer that costs less than $2,000, right? So we can run offers, we can run webinars to sell a $297 offers and also up to $2,000 offer. So that's why I suggested let's do live weekly webinar. Now this is waiting for clients approval right now at this point that I'm recording the video. So I just made the suggestion that let's shift the strategy to weekly webinars where we are going to fill the webinar. So the structure will be the same, more or less the same, where we are going to run ads to a free opt-in page where people can opt in for the webinar. So this is a free webinar when they can opt in, and then they are going to get email reminders to show up for the webinar, right? Let's just say out of 100 people, 20-30 people show up for the webinar, and then what we can do is, like, on the webinar itself, we give them amazing value. Towards the end, we make them an offer for the $797 course or the boot camp, and some of them are going to buy. Even if 1 or 2 people buy, that's amazing conversion for 100 registration. Okay, so that is what we have shifted the strategy to. Let's wait and see what the client says about that. Okay, so this is the first strategy that we worked on. The second was a deep dive report. So there's another client called Katie. His niche is about, again, career development. So we ran some ads, and these are the numbers that we are getting for his particular offer that we are running. The CTR link is 1.88%, which basically means out of like several people who are watching the video, 1.88% of the people are actually clicking on the ads, right? And then it's costing us $6 per click from the ads. The CPM is $113, which basically means per thousand impressions it's costing us $113. Okay, so for the niche that this particular client is in, the ads are performing very well, right? The numbers are great, and we don't need to alter anything on the ad side. However, here's how the funnel structure looks like. Now, just to give you a little bit just about how this particular client's offer was structured, he actually had a membership. So he created a course and called it a membership, right? So this particular client wanted to charge $499 for the membership. Every single year, there people will be paying $499, and for that he was offering a 7-day trial for just $1. Right now, this was a strategy that I did not form. This was from before, and I'm just reviewing what happened from the strategy that was formed before, the ads status and all of that. So I'm just looking at that. However, this was the strategy: $1 trial for 7 days for a $499 membership. Now, when I looked at the stats, when you see over here as well, we got 124 landing page views, 6 opt-ins, which basically means it cost us $142 to get one opt-in. That is insane, right? So how the funnel was structured is, we had ads, then we would send them to a landing page where they can opt in, where we had an opt-in form. They can put their name and email address to go to the checkout page where they can pay for the $1 trial. Okay, so a lot of steps in between, right? So it cost us $142, and then we got two purchases, which basically means that we just got two trial purchases for $1 each, right? And both of these clients who purchased the trial cancelled. So that means we, out of spending $857, we only made $2 revenue, which was not good at all. However, if we see the purchase rate over here, purchase rate basically means out of how many people, out of how many opt-ins, how many people purchased the offer. So out of 6, we got 2 purchases, which basically means the opt-in rate, purchase rate was 33.33%. The industry average is 40 to 50%, which is like, this is close to that, so it's absolutely fine. Okay, now from the deep dive, what I found was there were two major bottlenecks. Now, what do I mean by deep dive? I went to the funnel, I checked why the opt-in rate was so low, only 4.84%, which basically means our industry standard opt-in rate for a paid offer is 8 to 12%, right? Anything between 8 to 15% as well is absolutely fine. But if it's below 8%, that basically means our opt-in rates are not good. So the two major bottlenecks we saw was that the opt-in was very low, and then confusing checkout. So how this checkout page was structured, it was a Stripe checkout page with $1 per week. It was saying that it's going to cost you, this membership is $1 per week, with no mention of $499 in there. Still, we got 2 purchases. So like I mentioned before, the opt-in rate is half of the industry average. This is usually the case when the viewers either don't understand the value of the offer to even opt in, or they think the price is too high, right? The $499 membership is too high. However, still knowing the price of $499, 6 people opted in. This means there is a need for the offer, right? The offer is good. And on the other hand, 2 out of the 6 people, even after the confusing checkout, paid for the $1 trial, which is also a good sign. This means people are curious to find out about this particular offer, right? So here are the few tweaks I suggested for the conversion of our offer. The first thing was replace membership with the program. You see, the problem with a membership, it works really well if you have a lot of proof Or if you have a huge social media following, people are going to pay for a membership. However, if you're absolutely new and you do not have any social media presence, and you're trying to offer a membership where people would have to pay $499, even if that's very low on a monthly basis, it will be like $41 or something. Even if it will be low like that, but people are going to see that it's $499 membership, they are not going to be okay with paying that kind of money, right? Especially for a person who they do not have any idea about, they saw for the first time, right? So we cannot build enough proof like that. And also knowing that even if people pay $1 for the trial, when they get access to the course for 1 week, nobody invests a lot of time into seeing if the course is worth $499. Even if they pay just $1 for the trial, they would think that, hey, I just paid $1 for it, I don't think that it might be super valuable, or I do not perceive it as valuable. So they would cancel the payment right there. So people think they need to continue paying to make it. That's the first problem with membership. When we are promising that they will be able to lead their team in 60 days, which is basically one of the copy from the landing page, the question arises: why do they need to pay $499 every year for this, right? And then $499 subscription, even though it's for the year, it seems like a lot of money, especially to the people who have never seen you before, even if we are offering a trial. This is explained by the fact that both of the trial purchasers cancelled their subscription, right? That's the reason I suggest to make this a program rather than a membership, right? And give them lifetime access. So the reason I wanted to give people lifetime access for this particular program was first to prove that our offer is converting and people actually need it and find it valuable, right? So if people think that our offer is valuable, they are going to continue paying for it, or they can buy something else from us in the future. But if we don't even have any buyers and we are just being adamant about the price, it's not going to make any sense for us to keep trying to sell this at $499, right? So as a membership, so the idea was to just have enough people in the room so that we can test if the offer is converting and we can prove that the offer works and people actually need it. Note that we can always upsell them into a higher tier offer after they have purchased this program. Now, like I mentioned before, whenever we are running cold ads, the goal is to break even on the front end, right? So even if this costs $499, and we spend $499 on ads to get one purchase, it's absolutely fine since we are breaking even on the front end. We are not going to make millions over a front end offer. We are always going to make money with greater ROAS on the back end, right? So that's why I suggested to replace membership with program and sell it as a program rather than a membership. The second thing I suggested was to change the name. Now, how this particular program was structured was that it was a name, it was a short abbreviation. Let's just call it ABCD membership, right? So this is how it was structured. However, in the landing page, nothing was mentioned about this ABCD, or we never explained about this ABCD membership, right? We never gave them a complete understanding of the ABCD idea, right? So that's why, even though if it was a smart name, this was confusing for people to think about what they're even signing up for, except for knowing that it is a membership, right? So it was called ABCD membership. That's why I suggested that we must change the name and let's just call it become AI or recession proof while becoming irreplaceable in whichever company you're working with, right? And we would call it, let's just say that we are going to call it the AI recession proofing certification program. Become an AI or recession proof employee or a leader, right? Employer or leader using our proven 5-step formula. So this is the name that I suggested because 90% of the selling it happens because of the name of the program, right? Until and unless you are super dedicated, or like you have a huge social media following, um, people will buy anything from you, even a rock, Right, I have seen people selling rocks online just because they have a social media following, they have die-hard fans. But if you do not have a die-hard following, and you're just absolutely new to the audience, and you're marketing on cold ads with no social proof, then your name does most of the selling. Okay, then I suggested a different pricing structure, right? So currently we are offering the program for $499 per year with $1 trial. The gap between the trial and the subscription fee is huge as well. So usually what happens is, when we have a program offered for a trial, let's just say usually it's SaaS products, right? If we see any tool that costs like $20 per month, $47 per month, $50 per month, $97 per month, usually SaaS products are costed to us on monthly basis, on subscriptions, right? And they offer a paid trial, right? So the gap between $1 and $97 or $47 or $20 per month is very low. However, the gap between $1 and $499 is a lot, right? So people are thinking, hey, after 7 days of just paying $1, I need to pay $499. That's why this might come off as a lot for them, right? So here are the two payment structure that I suggested. The first one was payment plan, $499, $1 trial plus $41.5 per month for 12 months. So rather than paying annually, I just suggested we make it monthly, right? So total amount that they pay was 499. But here's the great thing that I did. So I added another option where people can pay in full upfront. They can get lifetime access immediately, with no recurring payments, just one time payment of $299, right? No membership, nothing is required, right? So we are not going to let them know about the full pay option on the landing page. So how I structured this was that throughout the landing page we are going to let them know that it's 499, 499, 499. However, when they go through a two-step order form, which basically means on the sales page, they there's this order form where people first have to put their name and email address to go to the next step to pay for our offer, right? So what this does is this helps us collect the name and email address, showing that they are interested. So even if they do not purchase, we can get back to them, right? So what I did was, like, on that two-step order form, I would reveal that we also have another option for them to pay upfront and without any recurring payments, right? So this will allow us to get some of the buyers to purchase this at $299 and recoup our ad spend upfront. So this was the goal of adding this pricing structure, right? I have mentioned the same over here. So this is just a few copy that I suggested, changing the copy based on the pricing structure, right? Like I mentioned, it will give them an element of surprise when they head to the checkout to see its monthly payment. Plus, they also have an option to pay all upfront to get lifetime access and not just 12 months. Okay, so with this payment plan, they only get access to for 12 months. However, over here, they get access for lifetime. Okay, so this was the surprise element for this particular offer. Okay, now again, I told them that, hey, I understand that we want to offer this as a membership. However, for the first 100 people, let's just keep it at this particular price point. Okay, and then the fourth thing that I suggested was add a money back guarantee. Now usually when we do not have a lot of proof, and a huge social media following, money back guarantees help us a lot, right? So let's just say that I suggested to name the money back guarantee as become an AI or recession proof leader guarantee. When you go through the program and use the lessons to lead your team, and you don't feel confident to becoming irreplaceable in your current job, then we will refund you every single penny and you can cancel anytime the membership. Okay, so this was the idea about adding a money back guarantee. Right now it was just cancel before day 7, cancel anytime after. But anytime after was not applicable because they just paid $499 for a year's membership. Why would they even cancel it, right? So that was the ideology behind this fourth suggestion. The fifth suggestion was to change the CTA. Now CTAs are basically buttons on the landing page, and it is very crucial when it comes to what we write on that button, because that is what people click on in order to go to the checkout section of the landing page, right? So it has to be enticing, it has to be desirable for the people. For now, what we had mostly was start my $1 trial, right? Which is not very attractive. So here's what I suggested. I suggested to change all the CTA with start my $1 trial to become AI or recession proof. Start your $1 trial now, right? So what this is going to show them that this is the result they're expecting. Go ahead and start your trial now. Okay, so this becomes more desirable. And for the sticky section, so sticky section is what stays throughout the landing page, even if we scroll through the page, right? So for that, I suggested to change ABCD today to become ABCD was basically the name of the program, and to become AI or recession proof in your job and become an irreplaceable leader. Okay, so this will be the call to action, and then change the button to start your trial for just $1. So this is the headline on that will be staying on the left, and the button will be on the right. This will be sticky throughout the page. Okay, then the final CTA was to change start my transformation for $1 to yes, make me irreplaceable, start my $1 trial. You see how different it feels and how desirable it feels for me to click on that so that I can become irreplaceable. You see, that's the psychology behind writing the right CTA text. Okay. Then the second thing I suggested was how it was currently structured was that it wasn't a two-step order form. Like I mentioned before, this was an opt-in that we had before. When they clicked on this, they would go to a separate Stripe page to see or even check out the offer. So what I suggested was let's not do that. Let's keep people on the same page and have them sign up from there itself. So I suggested add the guarantee line just below the form. So just below the form, they will be able to see the guarantee that they are safe. They can make the payment over here, plus convert the order form into a two-step order form in the sales page itself, so that they can check out on the sales page itself, right? So here how the options are going to look like. Payment plan $499, $41 per month for 12 months after the trial, and then pay upfront just $299, save $200, lifetime access, no recurring payments. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like. $1 if they choose the first option because of the trial, and then the second option is $299. They can just pay upfront, right? So here's how the psychology works over here, right? Yeah, even if the $299 seems like a deal, some of the people are going to go ahead and purchase the $299 offer because they want to save $200. But then there will be other people who first thought $1 trial will be a lot, but now they are seeing the $299 option and they are thinking, oh, I just get to get in for just $1. Sure, please sign me in, right? So that's like a psychological play that I had over here. Then I just had a small tweak on the landing page. This was the option, but then this was a bit confusing because people this would be showing the people or the prospects who are viewing the page to seem like it's saving their company. However, this is for employees, right? So that's why I made this tweak that can not only increase the chances of your promotions, but also make you irreplaceable in your company. Easily justifies a $499 investment, right? So our average project saves $213,000. So the idea is that if the employee can save the company $50,000 per year, they will get more promotions, they will be irreplaceable in their company, and so on and so forth, right? So this was the entire idea. And then after that, I have also suggested the client that since this is a $499 offer, we will need to spend at least $1,000 to get enough data to do the next deep dive, right? So once we get the next all of these data after spending $1,000, we'll be able to come back to this and do another deep dive to see what are the numbers and so on and so forth. That's when I'm going to record the updates for this particular client then, right? So I'm so I hope that this entire video was helpful for you, and let me know what your views are in the comments. And what you think about day one of this particular office turnover challenge. But this was the entire structure that I followed for the day, all the suggestions that I made for the day for the particular client, and I hope this makes sense to you as well. let me know every single thing, every single idea that you have got. Another thing I will say, if you want me to review your offer as well, go ahead and drop your offers in the comments below, because that will also not only promote your offer to the audience, let people know that hey, I also have an offer. Muzahid, I would love to have you review this offer as well. I would make a dedicated video just to run over all the things that you can change to make the offer better, and so on and so forth. You can also send me a text on Ask Muzahid on Instagram to share your details with me. Let's just say that you have some of the ad numbers you want me to review, and so on and so forth. Just let me know. But apart from that, do share in the comments what was your best takeaway from this video. And I'm going to see you tomorrow for day 2 of the Office Turnover Challenge. I'm pretty excited on what's happening tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure you're going to get a lot of value. I personally learned a lot inside of the software that I just reviewed. The biggest takeaway for me was that the trial thing and the offer structure that I created for the pricing, I had never done that before. But based on this particular offer and how it was structured, I thought of doing it this way. So I'm pretty excited to see how this works out and just learn from it, right? So yeah, that will be all for day 1. I hope it was very helpful to you. I'm going to see you on day 2. Until then, keep creating for